Welcome to the Bougie Black Brother Network. Welcome back to Repo Rethink Politics, where we want to jump back into our dedication to the nation. Chaz, what's your feeling?
Yeah, so, it's just, I guess what I'm saying for me, it becomes so small in terms of like what point, like what are we fighting for? Like now we're got to fight for the right to have a primary?
It's patriotism, man. That's what it is. You're supposed to salute to the flag. You just vote. What's the problem?
That's it. What's your problem?
You're supposed to love your country. That's what they say.
Yep.
That's my fear, actually. My fear is that people are just like, man, fuck this country. And then they just start not voting. I know.
It goes the other way. So
yep.
So it's just, okay.
That's been my biggest fear since Trump jumped in. And then how they say, black people aren't voting as much. And, you got all this turmoil inside the Democratic Party. And exactly what you just said, Mike, with they're waiting for Abrams to jump in.
So apathy to the other degree.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that scares me that'll get Trump back in. Just that kind of thing, Like we had a fight to get that, to fix that, if you want to call it that, in the midterms, because that was what was about to happen, and then we had to get, our folk out there so that they can vote, and then they did, and then shit happened. Now we got to do it again, So it's hard, man.
And
this whole thing is. You gotta trust the government. You gotta trust these politicians. It's hard to trust them, man. Because I can see how people just lose interest and.
Well, it's not interest as much as it's faith, man. Losing faith, yeah, and
that's true.
Look at the conversations we're having. Like, did you see some shit on Twitter? Did you see the shit where Ted Cruz wrapped a piece of bacon on like a gun, like the barrel of a gun?
No,
put it in foil.
No,
shooting it,
dude.
He was shooting. Oh, did he cook the bacon?
He cooked the bacon and ate it.
Oh, shit. Oh, they're going to eat that. They're going to eat that up.
Oh, my God.
I was just like, you know what I'm saying?
My God.
Yeah.
This is crazy, man.
Did you see? Is that supposed to be funny, or was that one of those
no, this was
for guns?
Real video. It was like, Ted Cruz is, he's a Texan.
He's ridiculous.
I'm a gun-toting, pork-eating.
So
I think he's going to lose, though, by the way.
Let's move to Texas. Do you know 5 congressional people from Texas are retiring? 5 congressional Republicans.
Including the guy.
Republicans.
The guy I like. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's the guy you like, the black brother, right?
Yeah, the CIA dude, yeah.
Yeah, so he's like, I'm done with this.
West? Is that his last name, something West?
I don't
remember. Like I remember that.
But he kept showing
Adam
up.
West?
He kept showing up. So all of them is like, I'm done with this. I don't think I'm going to win, and I'm tired of what's going on. So that was crazy. And the Senate is really going to be up for grabs because they blocked everything that could change, gun laws, kids in cages, all of that. They blocked all of that. Why would you vote for someone? And think about this too, and I'm sticking with the Texas realm. When they start taking land for the fence being built,
that's going to be so unpopular.
Intimate domain is the government has an emergency, and they have to use this land for an emergency purpose, so they can take your land for intimate domain. But they're saying, why are you going to let the motherfuckers do it? It's not an emergency.
Right.
But guess what? If you're going to let your senator say, yeah, it's okay, and you're going to let your congressman say, yeah, it's okay, and you're allowing the president to do it, watch when the fucking when it's time to vote.
Vote that ass out of office.
Yep. So we'll see when we see. We saw what happened in 2018, but,
Mike,
we see what we see.
I want to ask you a quick question in terms of what was your expectation in terms of like taking the trip versus your reality, like in terms of interacting with the people?
With my trip. So I know what to expect wherever I go now, because my intent is almost like what you said. I'm not I wanted to go further up in Alaska to see the mountains and, the snow caps and all of that. It was hot as fuck. So, global warming. And there was the minimum amount of glaciers because I wanted to see the glaciers and those in the ocean and everything. Some motherfuckers wasn't there either. But when it comes to people, I always try to engage with people. When we at a restaurant, there's somebody giving me funny looks. Hey, how you doing? Hey, you from around here? I try to interject to get information because if I like a place, I go. We take walks and we walk the area. We don't try to take cabs or Ubers or whatever. We try to walk a lot of area. We try to go to the least popular area or tourist area. So we had breakfast in these small little places that was owned by a little Asian couple here. These old ass lesbian women. We went to a breakfast place that they own.
Those are some of the best intimate
and they're
experiences.
Fantastic, and they serve you like thanks for coming. Mm-hmm. So I try to do that whether it's international or domestically here. Those are always my intent, and usually I get a good experience there, unless I know I'm going into something that I'm probably going to be uncomfortable with. So I got to mentally prepare myself to kind of say, expect this to happen. If it doesn't happen, you'll probably have a better time. Do you ask that because you expected to have something different? Because you didn't say anything about Budapest.
No, I asked because because you're still in the United States.
Oh, okay. So. Gotcha.
Whereas, like, for Budapest, I'm the only thing about Budapest I say was, like, motherfuckers, like, brolic.
What?
The men and the women. Like, a lot of those motherfuckers, like, some thick neck motherfuckers who eat a lot of turkey legs.
It's a fucking lamb shoulders or some shit. Yeah.
I'm saying, I think
brisket eating.
I saw some. I don't know if they were natives. They look like natives.
Okay.
The peanut gallery disagrees.
Oh, okay. No, but domestically, it's.
No, Budapest was cool though.
Okay,
and that's part of the unknowing of like, let me just go into open mind, no matter what situation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's why I want to go to Turkey.
I mean, I went on a trip. Can I talk about that?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Where'd you go?
This is all about the trip. It's all about the trip.
I ain't do shit. I ain't got nothing.
I ain't got nothing for you. But
bro, I went you gonna make it up?
I went to Sesame Street.
Damn.
That's real talk, though. I went there.
Okay.
My 4-year-old.
Yeah, well, that's.
Did they tell you how to get there?
Sometimes that's what you got to get. You tell you how to get.
I ain't got no politics. No politics with that, though. But anyway.
Hey, can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street?
It's in Philly. It's right outside of Philly.
It's Sesame, you for real?
Yeah, Sesame Place.
It's called Sesame Place. Wow.
Yeah, a real place. Yeah, got roller coasters and everything.
Learn something new every day, dude. Right.
I think Dave Chappelle made a bit about that. Giant birds and a monster in a garbage can. It's like, you know what?
Yeah, that's what they got. They had little shows. They had Homeboy coming out of the trash.
It's like
Big Bird.
That's a lot.
It is, but I wasn't scarred, so I'm okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
we put it in perspective. But let's go back to the Sharpie Gate, man. And everybody kind of laughed it off. But it come to find out that who was it? The Secretary of not Interior, but one of them, they threatened and said, you better write a memo to say that the president was right, or all of y'all going to get fucking fired.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was wasn't it Noah?
Wilbur Ross. That's the fucking asshole that
you talking about Sharpie Gate?
Yeah.
Even though I'm low key tired of everything ending in gate.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I know. Yeah, that's the default, man. And once again,
like for scandal.
Yeah, for any scandal, is a gate behind that bitch, right?
Yeah. So, what if there's a gate? What if a motherfucker lies about a gate?
Yeah, they lock somebody out and someone died in front of a gate. Did he die? No, that's that gate, yo. Gate. Like, come off of that.
G2, baby. I don't know.
Yo, so it's been like an awful fucking week, man, with shit that's at the top of the list of impeachment, but it seems so normalized. You know what
Everything.
I mean? Normalized.
Well,
man.
no, don't say that because the only thing I'll say is if that was normalized, people like Tulsi, what is it, Tulsi Gabbard, she
yeah.
wouldn't be resonating. I think she's resonating with folks because I'm like, you know what, I think you're dope versus, versus like, I mean, if that was the case, just Trump would win again, or
No,
people wouldn't show up for these crowds.
No, but
the crowds wouldn't show up for these candidates. So
no, they're showing up for the candidates because they hoping for the best, but they still showing up for his ass because they're so blinded and brainwashed that no, as long as I'm getting what I want, I'm fine. No, but are you truly getting what you want?
So wait a minute. Let's do definitions real quick. What's your definition of brainwash? Brainwashing, like present tense, and then past tense. This person is brainwashed.
So brainwashed, meaning past tense, they believe that this guy is working for their best interests. And to them, you're working a 9 to 5. He gave a tax break to someone and you really didn't get anything. But because you feel he's talking about keeping black people and stating that they're criminals and they shouldn't have the right to anything, and he's saying the things that you wish you want to be, you're brainwashed to the fact that I believe in him because he's saying what's true. It's not true, but you're brainwashed with a fact that you believe in, and you believe that you're superior than other race. So the racism portion, you're brainwashed, or maybe you're not brainwashed. Maybe you're just a racist supporting a racist.
Or you could just simplify that and just say it's just one's a cause and effect. It's like one is he's brainwashing you by doing whatever the fuck he's saying and doing, and then you believe it. So therefore, you are brainwashed. It's just you got these idiots that just believe everything he says, but then it just stops right there. Like they don't even look for research or anything. Yeah. So,
and that's ridiculous to me.
But a part of me still feels like that's too simple.
But there's a lot of simple people out there, dude.
Right? Yeah, that's the problem. Well, see, that's the problem, right? So you just keep. I mean, we're talking about over 3 years now, maybe 4 years now.
Yeah,
just
we're going on. Yeah.
Bullshit. Yeah. I mean, it's on the news.
I mean, that's true,
and it's getting right or more and more. Yeah.
Because I mean, we all thought W was the worst motherfucker ever.
Yep. Ever.
I mean, he was.
No, he wasn't. Not anymore. He was. Yeah, until.
There
you go. He was. Yeah.
It's one of those things that's relative, I guess. But a part of me just still feels like, is it that simple? Like people are just waiting, like, hey, play into their, like, just fan the flames of, prejudice and people's bias. Is it that simple?
So let's make it simple for you. You hanging out with a dude, and that's your boy. But as soon as he got an opportunity to make you look bad, to make himself look better, he does it. And you like, damn, what the fuck happened? He's always been that way. He just had the opportunity to show who he really was. That's what happened to these people. They've always been that way. But they had to conform because they're in an environment that says, if you do anything to show how racist you are, you're going to be determined as a racist. You probably lose your job. You'll be looked bad upon in society. Now you're not being looked bad because you got the president of the United States that's embodying that image of who you are and who you want to be. So now it's normalized for them. And I keep saying the normalization of things is because he lies consistently. And now that everybody knows it, he's still like, I'm not going to stop because you can't do anything about it. And that's where the problem lies. The fact that we can't do anything and we keep saying, do the impeachment, do this. Yeah, that's not going to happen because the Democrats are afraid that it'll make them look bad. Dude, you're looking bad because you're not doing anything.
Yeah. I mean, I can't argue with that. It's just a part of me. Like, I guess I'm thinking about there's 100% of voters. I'm just curious about that. I feel like there's some more complexity just because at the end of the day, and I know I mentioned this in the past, motherfuckers who voted for Trump this time did vote for Obama before. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Oh no. But that's a difference. We're not talking about those people. So the people who voted for Obama before.
I'm talking about those people.
Yeah. So if you talk about them, they're not brainwashed. They had something that they wanted. They didn't get it totally from Obama. And when a man stands up and says, I'm going to take away all of these political type people because that's what's destroying this country. And you'd be like, yeah, that's the kind of person I want. Yeah.
That's not
and,
what
you
he
know,
said.
I'm a bit. But
he said,
that's
I'm the
what
best. No one knows more about making deals than me.
So guess what?
I make the best deals.
You seen him on The Apprentice. He showed you that he can do it. If you're that dumb and naive, I don't want to say dumb. If you're that naive to think that that was truly what it was and you don't really know, you see that he's going to drain the swamp because that's what he said too. But yet, once he got in, you saw he didn't know what he was doing. He put in people because he just got rid of Bolton today. And I didn't even know why he hired Bolton, but he thought Bolton was going to acquiesce to whatever he wanted.
John Bolton.
Yeah, Mr. Mustache. Yeah, Mr. Mustache.
Yeah, he got fired today.
He got fired today. And you know what he said? That's bullshit.
What?
I fucking gave him my resignation last night. So that's what he's going around telling folks. Yeah.
You know what? Can we talk about that? Can we talk about that a little bit? Why was Trump going to invite the Taliban on 9/11?
Oh, my God. Because he doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's looking for a win.
Bruh, no. Trump is from New York. He lives in New York. Like, that's at what
point.
But
he doesn't care.
How many excuses can you make?
He doesn't care. He needs a win to say, see what I did? I met with the Taliban. They're going to stop. Yeah. I'm going to move all my people out. They're not going to kill us anymore.
Have y'all seen that show? It's like one of those history shows on Netflix. This one is about Rome, and they mix it in with like regular documentary style, like experts where they talk. I'm like, so and so is about this, and then they have like the dramatic reenactments,
like Drunk History.
Say what?
Like Drunk History.
I actually didn't watch that one.
No, Drunk
was good,
man.
That's a good show.
One of the best series this on. You want to be educated and entertained?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
gotta watch this.
That's
one
the History Channel. I think that is.
Yeah.
But this one was like they actually had like the dramatic reenactments in between the education piece.
Okay.
So they talk about in Rome Caligula and his shit, and it was like real life Game of Thrones of
what was that
motherfuckers plotting,
Caligula.
conspiracy, and eventually there was like the people in the Senate were like, I'm sick of this motherfucker. We tired of these emperors. They be wilding out.
Yep.
And it just kind of made me think of Trump as like, how much do we have to, how much do we have to deal with, a crazy motherfucker? So I'm kind of like at what point, and like in the history of the world, they got like, man, we tired of these emperors. What if we just had a republic? Like, what does that mean? We just vote for motherfuckers. Like, all right, cool, let's try it. So at what point do we say in the United States, and this is just, I'm kind of thinking out loud, or just brainstorming. At what point do we say?
It's kind of evident.
What if,
nah, see, that's you going on a, now, okay, you're not wrong.
No, but hold on,
right?
Just hear me out, though. So what if we say, at what point does the president have to be reined in, or at what point is
military?
At what point is the president a liability, and we have to rethink our government?
So, but who are you asking that though? Are you asking Congress?
I'm thinking
that. Are you
asking
the cabinet? Are you asking the military? Who are you asking?
I'm thinking that within the context of in history, we had emperors and kings and queens, pharaohs who just started like in this case. What's interesting about the show was Caligula was just like a crazy. At one point, he just went crazy with paranoia, insecurity, like whatever, incest. Just like he was just a wild dude.
Yeah, he was just crazy. Yeah, hell yeah.
It was kind of like, he started off normal like anybody. Like you had the honeymoon period, and then
he got drunk off power, and then he became perverted with it, and then he just went crazy.
That's the crazy thing. You got to watch the little thing.
Really?
His story was, I found him to be a more tragic figure based off his backstory and all that, but I feel like in general, I'm kind of like, at what point do you think we're ever going to, like, in other words, do you think the presidency is not broken? You think you're just the person in it?
Yeah. I think the only way that would happen is if the military has to step in. Like he's trying to force a war, that kind of thing.
But that's a coup, though.
Well, see, here's it. I mean, when you have, I don't know, the administration that's trying to take over and tell the military what to do.
No, but that's not taking over, though. That's like, okay, back in the day, this king is a tyrant.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to have kings no more.
So there's a constitutional amendment that says the president isn't competent enough and the executive staff or cabinet can remove the president.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's still the administration.
It's the administration. That's not going to happen. He put in a bunch of dumbasses. So he got rid of the intelligent people, and now there's just a bunch of yes men. Then there's the impeachment portion where Congress can do it. But because the Republican and the Senate are getting the judges that they want, they're getting the legislation that they want. And you saw Mitch McConnell, he's getting paid because he's getting the Russians to bring business to the state of Tennessee. All of that is fine. They're letting him wild out and do what he wants as long as they get what they want. Because this era is about getting paid.
You got to take that further because it's actually also Pelosi. That's part of the problem. She's not pulling the trigger on that.
I
she's the House Speaker, who I think is number 4 or number 3 on the list. Who's at the VP, Secretary of State? No, I think it's the House Speaker actually, and then
it's the House Speaker before it gets to the
yeah.
Okay, so let's look back in history. So let's make this historic. Like, so if kings and kings, queens are just wilding out, and again, we're not. Just to be clear, we're not talking about like there's genocide here, but in terms of like motherfucker wilding out, like if I'm just thinking in historical times, it starts off like anything that doesn't seem too damaging. Like, okay, this person requires everyone to wear polka dots. Like, oh, that's weird. This person just tweets a lot, or this person just says fake news. But then I'm thinking, well, okay, if we don't check this now, what'll be in the future? So you don't think like back in the day there was like this king or this emperor is wilding out, but
they just
a few
killed
people are profiting.
No,
so
but they killed him.
Like kind of like Mitch McConnell. So
different era. They killed him back then. Do you know kings were killed in England? They were killed. Well, we tired of that motherfucker. We're killing him. In Italy, in Spain, in Portugal, they killed him. If they got tired of the motherfuckers, they killed them. Or if not, they came in, the military took Napoleon, arrested his ass, and put him in an island off somewhere.
Exiled his ass.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
But they came and got his ass. The military did.
Well, you know what?
What's up?
Look, I just think when I was watching the show and the Emperor shit, I was like, man, that shit is crazy because I guess I'm thinking for me, it took a while. It took like a fucking 1,000 years of motherfuckers getting killed, genocide, like, a tyrant.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, this is just like an extreme example of where we are or where we've been, excuse me, but I'm thinking in the case of kings and queens and shit, it's like ultimately as a world, for the most part, we've decided like that shit just doesn't make sense to have by bloodline, by this or that. Like whoever's is the best at any given point,
right?
That's who should be in office.
So let me give you a quick perspective, though. I want to, so you can take this. What's happening right now is truly an anomaly because it already happened twice. It happened with Nixon, and it happened with Clinton. We have a system in place that all they have to do is do it, and they just not doing it right now. So it's not like, oh, the system is broke, I don't know why they not doing it. No, they're not doing it because they're just afraid, and they don't want to do that because it's going to make them look bad as opposed to doing the right thing. Now, Clinton, that was some bullshit, but they went through it for lying on his dick. You know what I mean? Now, fucking Nixon was like, I'm out of here. I'm fucking resigning. I'm fucking out of here. And he was done. But here, all they need to do is impeach his ass, and the Senate can remove him from office. But he should be. Though, go ahead.
But if they don't, is it not broken at that point?
No, if they don't, it's broken because now the electoral system has to kick in and say, if these people don't want to do their job, let's put people in that will do the job.
But then I feel like, and it depends on lawsuits, the ACLU and different parties getting involved. But if you've already done the work on the front end to say we're gonna vote in a shit ton of federal judges and other, if we're gonna win on the judicial level, we have the executive level, and we're gonna set the voting lines to try to win on the congressional level. I mean, you kind of, you're set up to win. It's kind of like what we've been saying. Now, obviously, Democrats do have the House. The Senate still remains to be seen, but
it's an opportunity. And then our Georgia senator, he's quitting at the end of the year.
Not Purdue.
No,
which one?
Isaacson. Yeah, the other senator. He's quitting at the end of the year.
He's quitting.
Yeah, he's quitting. But then
so who's that?
Our senator for Georgia.
Is he a Republican or?
Yeah, he's a Republican.
Democrat?
Yep, he's a Republican. So we're gonna go try to get Purdue out, and we're gonna get Isaacson to be replaced because somebody, the governor is gonna put in someone temporarily, which is gonna be a Republican. Then they're gonna turn around and they're gonna have to vote in the new person. So that person wants to stay, they got to get back on the ballot to stay as a senator. But now we got an opportunity to take out 2 senators for Georgia.
But question: why is he leaving? Why is that guy leaving?
They said for health reasons.
Is that true?
I'm sick of that shit. I'm sick of the bullshit.
He's just sick of that shit. Well,
is he bad at his job, or is he like one of those old Republicans where he's just like, man,
kind of both.
Can't be in this shit.
Yeah, he doesn't really give a damn. He's done. So let me back up. He's done well for Georgia because he's the guy who takes care of Gwinnett County where I live. He does a really good job here.
Yeah.
Federal wise, he's full of shit because all he does is agree with whatever the
yes man.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I see. So he's a great. So why not just be a state senator?
Because you get more prestige and you can get
those
but
you have to get at your job though.
It doesn't. You don't have to be good at your job. You just have to be elected federally.
But you know what?
The fact that you just said that's the problem.
That's the problem. Absolutely.
I was projecting myself into that. I would want to do a great job. I would want to be.
Yes.
And I was thinking about this. If I can make, I'm looking at the time. I'm just gonna make one quick point about, and I think this is just when I think about the U.S. and particularly versus other places, but I could be wrong. But I was thinking about the idea of actors. So with the table reads and writing scripts.
Mm-hmm.
So we had our finale so we ended up writing like a season, and we wrapped up the finale episodes, and it was fun. And what I was finding out for a lot of people who I get along with on that level, I love like just regular people versus like if you're an actor for the most part, at least the people I've interacted here, I mean, from what I'm trying to do right now, if you're an actor, you're trying to chase opportunities, trying to do that. You're not really trying to hear or hang out with like some dude who's just trying to write scripts and get feedback on or this and that. Now the feedback's been great, but that said, the people who really enjoy it are kind of like they might be a little older, working a regular 9 to 5, and this is something that they just kind of do in their spare time.
Okay,
they're like a perfect crowd, just kind of hang out and bullshit, kick back ideas. And I was like, these people, in my opinion, a lot of the just your 9 to 5ers who do voice acting, who just come through for the table reads, when they read a script, they're like, they're good. They can, or after a period of time, they can become good enough to where a person who acts full time, who's an actor full time, to me they're pretty close. And I was thinking about it on the same level of politicians.
I know what you're going at.
Why is it just again the same idea of a 9 to 5er, but the person who there's a lot of people who do that on a state level for sure, where it's kind of like the politics is kind of like their second gig.
Right.
You
Right.
know, they work 9 to 5 and they come down for the state capitol for when the legislation is in session, legislator or whatever is in session.
Right.
They do their thing and they leave, and I'm like, why? Why do we accept the idea of it being like, why are certain jobs we see as full-time jobs
Hmm.
as opposed to why aren't certain things inherently, like, for example, working at fast food is inherently part-time. We accept that.
Hmm. You know, I got
Do we?
something different out of what you said, by the way. Like
Okay, go ahead.
with the table, you're talking about the table reads and how you can get just an average person to come in, read the script, and then basically how much better they can be sometimes because they're just normal people reading a script. And it when you said that, it made me think about politicians that are in the system for so long that they almost are all about the votes and they're all about
Re-election.
they're just about the elections. They're all about looking good. Almost like you glamorize and you maybe
No, you know what? It's like what's Miss America, like a pageant.
okay, yeah,
Like,
but you do that to get the votes, right? Like
but why?
you are
Why do
more
we?
Because you want to be the prettiest in the room.
So this is a
No,
pageant.
you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I go more with that pageant, because I want to be the prettiest in the room, and I want everyone to always say, "Hey, let's get ready because the new pageant is coming in within the next 2 years. So you got to get ready for the new pageant. Don't worry about legislating or whatever. If somebody needs you, okay, I'll give you my vote. But overall, really trying to make the change, that's when I think that's where you going, E. That's where the regular people said, I'm coming there because some bullshit is going on.
And
Yeah.
that's what I love about just having like doing the table read. So I'm like, yo, here's a script about XYZ. Like Mike, if you come in, like just it's based off your experience. Like if you're like, yo, here's a character that's blah blah blah. You fill in a script and it's funny, you can give me that energy versus I'm gonna lock myself in a room for 3 days and
And I'm
crawl deep
gonna be
within
the
my
character.
soul.
I'm gonna be the character.
It's like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? You don't gotta do that weird shit. You're gonna do you. I'm like, I think I just think we have to rethink the idea of what is in terms of time to put into something. What is short term and long term?
So
How long should you?
Why don't you
how long-
lean on the fact that what you and I think this is a good point. Lean on the fact that there's some people that's been there too long. You should limit the amount of time that a person can be reelected into a position. Because I tell you what, a 4-year person will come in, do their shit, and go. Because they're not coming back. So you always getting somebody new who's trying to make a change. But if you keep having people who's been there for like 40 fucking years.
and they're making a change within like nowness. You're not, you know what I'm saying? They're not, what's my jam? Turn on that Sinatra. Turn on that Sammy Davis Jr. Like,
And you're like, man,
your
ain't
old
nobody
ass out
trying to
here.
hear that shit. Get the
So
fuck out of here.
it's
Turn on that I'll Be Sure,
hey yo, wait a minute. Hold on, Mike. You're going
It's
too
called
far.
foreshadowing, though.
Oh, okay. But to me that's been one of the interesting things about just from my perspective of writing scripts and people coming in and doing their thing. Like we just had like great performances from like just regular like non-actors. I just kind of I imagine now obviously some people grow over time.
Right.
So you do this X amount of times and they get better and better. Why can't we apply this in regular society and just say, maybe to me it's like this is almost a paradigm shift. Why can't you say, I know again it sounds corny, but the aptitude. A lot of people show the aptitude, but like from my perspective, it's like I'm willing to take those early lumps to say we're gonna get some shit performances because people have to get comfortable.
Right.
They got to get comfortable with the medium, et cetera, et cetera. But after a while, they become beast. I think that's professors because professors get over the hill. Professors really are like I really think that might be a lot of people just coast in education. I'll just say that. But
That's
just
because
anything.
of tenure. That's tenure.
It sounds like you're describing people like AOC.
Yep.
Like that's shit. That's exactly who she is.
You know what? I
Yeah.
guess to a degree, yeah. Like you just come in and like the more reps she's gonna get, she's just gonna get it like quickly and just be better than folks who are just in there for a long period of time.
Yeah. And then the problem with the politicians now, when you have people like AOC, that she's so real, like real, and she just spits out everything that she believes in and says it, that you got some people that are like, man, she's just talking. Like, because that's what all the politicians do.
Or they're
So
uncomfortable with it.
Well, that's that. No, those are two different people. There's people
Okay,
that are
okay.
uncomfortable with it, that they're just like, shut up. That's not how you're supposed to do it. You're going to turn people off. And then there's other people that are like, man, she don't really believe that. She's just saying all that stuff to make noise. And that's what the Republicans are doing. So those are the different kind of battles that it's kind of unnecessary, because you're supposed to believe that politicians are doing it because they're actually trying to make change. So, but to get back to your point with AOC, she's the one that's in there for all the right reasons. She's not in there to get money and to get votes. She's totally in there just because she truly believes that she's trying to change what the fuck is happening to this country. So,
True.
I
I think that's what the four women are doing now.
The fear is that you don't want it to go wrong, right? You don't want her to get to the point that she becomes a pro, and then she actually becomes what we don't want her to be,
Oh, she becomes
a pageant, queen,
and again,
or whatever you call it.
That was the interesting thing about watching that little thing about the emperor, is like anyone with power power is just such that weird dynamic. Like there's no incentives to be a good person or to rein in your shit. A lot of people just become fucked up. I mean, we see it with Me Too, Harvey Weinstein. If people feel like they can get away with some bullshit, a lot of people will. They'll try it. Or, I mean,
I don't know.
It's just like, what are the checks? I think I'm just thinking out loud of like, how do we update our checks and balances to say, if this part of the equation is broken, what I'm saying? Like our cars, like, all right, if this sensor, like our streets are getting more fucked up. So, all right, so we got to improve our suspension. So that's a better check. We get that check is in response to another thing. You know what I mean? Like, how can we be more dynamic in checks and balances?
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about like some kind of measuring system that can
Isn't that
identify.
The Constitution, though?
Nah, that's checks and balances. That's literally someone calling it out and then doing something about it. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like that's the point of the Constitution. Like, stay adaptive, stay reflective.
Well, yeah, if everyone agrees with it, or acts on it, because you're talking about the Republic. You're talking to the Republicans right now. You're saying, why aren't the Republicans doing something?
Republicans and Democrats.
Well, it's the only person stopping it on the Democratic side right now is Pelosi. Like, there's nothing else that the Democrats can do,
and that's only because she's in charge.
But during the Republicans, I mean, obviously, during Obama's thing, Republicans were like, we're going to do this, and to me, that's like another thing, just based on who's in office. Each side is going to try to manipulate power. Harry Reid kind of fucked up with that when he fucked up the Senate. Republicans are kind of like, they're going crazy now that. So each side basically goes crazy when one person is in office or out. That's how I feel. And I'm kind of like, how can you minimize people like changing the rules dramatically to suit temporary needs?
So I have a theory. I've always felt that the issues that we're having right now in politics is just people getting tired of what's happening. You've heard this before, in Washington. So they're just trying to blow up the system. So they vote.
Yeah.
I don't know I don't think it happens as much as people think. I think this is something that's gone out of control lately. When I say lately, I'm talking about the last decade, where go back to when George Bush fucked everything up, and then they were like, Barack was actually a breath of fresh air for a lot of people, and he was very different. So it's just like, okay. And I think that's the connection between Trump supporters and Obama supporters.
Yeah, but after Clinton, after Bill Clinton, you got W. Yeah, I think Mike, you remember this that whole thing of he's like a guy I can have a beer with.
Yep.
So he was
Absolutely.
different
Yeah.
than say Clinton, and Clinton was obviously different than Reagan. Reagan was different than Carter, and it's just like the cycle, and we're not,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
just
you're talking about the cycle of going back and forth between, extremes. Because if you want to continue the cycle, then a Democrat's going to win because the country is tired of the Republican. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
that's the seesaw.
It's
I'm getting
very
it right
much
there.
like dating in their early 20s. Like, this person
Yeah.
is boring. I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
do
move on.
like I want to
But
date a
doesn't it
crazy
feel
chick.
different?
I
Doesn't it
want
feel
someone.
different though? Doesn't it feel like the people are changing, the country's changing? Doesn't it feel like you're tired of a bunch of powerful white men trying
Yeah.
to tell you what's right? It feels different, doesn't
And I
it? Doesn't
think
it a little
the
bit?
country feels that way. So
Yeah.
I know we talk through it like, look, we need some women in charge. Hey, I like hearing this. I think the country is wanting something different than another politician. That's why I don't like Biden, because Biden want to turn it back to regular politics.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he wants to do. Regular politics is better than what we have.
It's
But
a
we
certain
need-
etiquette.
Yeah, but we
There's
need to leapfrog off of that into some
Yeah,
really
raise
traumatic
the bar.
change. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, because the fear right now is that we just go back, but really we want to keep progressing and get better. It's almost like we would be going right back to pre-Obama
Yep.
if we went to Biden. That's what it feels like. It's like right back to the Clinton, what we wanted to do back in the late 90s. It just feels what he thinks that Barack wanted to do, because that's how Biden speaks right now.
Yeah, I know, right?
The Barack Whisperer.
That's a good one. Yeah. The Barack Whisper.
Damn. I don't know about. I really like the Tulsi lady, and Liz.
You
Elizabeth
said
Warren.
that. I don't know about Tulsi, man.
So
It's-
I like Tulsi, but I don't think
Yeah.
she should be president. I think she should
might
be, and
she
I'll
goes
say it
to
again.
Cabinet.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
she's
can see
definitely a
that.
cabinet member. I would feel confident any position, but I would rather her be Secretary of Defense.
Oh yeah,
Gangster,
definitely.
right?
That'd be perfect. Yep. That's it.
That's
I
how I
was
see
there,
her.
motherfucker. Like when she pulled that one after
Yep.
9/11.
I was there, you
There
son
was
of
some
a bitches.
bullshit.
I went to the line. I was there. Because remember doing
There,
the
motherfucker.
you didn't
Oh,
see it
shit.
though, but when she was on stage, she was like, "You're attacking Biden for agreeing on that, but I volunteered after 9/11 and I was lied to. But after I found out that it was wrong, that's when I got out. But you don't question if someone's telling you something if you don't know if it's right or wrong. You defend your country, and Kamala was like, I hate this bitch. And I was like, shut up.
Yeah, she fucking up my whole
she's
system
fucking
right
up
now.
yeah. But she was right though. If you don't know the truth,
Ah,
what the hell
is
you
she
gonna
though?
do?
Is she?
No,
Don't
Mike,
question
Mike,
it if you don't
Mike,
No.
know the
we-
answer.
we all knew Trump won. We was like, wait a minute.
No. I'm not talking about Trump. I was talking about 9/11.
Right.
So terrorist attack.
A terrorist attack. You don't know who did it. And they was like, we're going to Afghanistan because of weapons of mass destruction.
We gotta
We're
go
not
fuck
going to
'em
have
up,
it. We
yeah.
got to go fuck them up. Everybody said, look, I'm signing up. We went to war for some bullshit in the wrong region. Come on now. What the fuck is going on? But I didn't know that. A lot of us didn't know that. I was out by then. Fuck that. But I saw this shit coming. But what I'm saying is there's people who said, I'm going to help defend our country. I'm going to be the patriot to do that. But once you find out the shit is wrong, are you going to be that stupid to stay in a system that lies to you? Or are you going to be part of the system to make it change so it won't continue to happen?
That's what I'm saying about complexity. I think at that point, once you're in, some people just look at the simple calculus. Like, all right, what's my retirement? What's my
Damn.
shit? I'm gonna eat this.
My 401k and shit.
Yeah, all right. If I can become an officer, then once I get out, oh wait a minute, I went in 2001, 2002. The recession hit in 2008, 2009. I might stay in another couple of years and try to get out, get into private. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It's just, I feel like things are just more complex than, we give them credit for. So
But it
that's what I'm
can
thinking.
be. And I don't want to dismiss what you're saying. It can be. But sometimes the simplest answer is the answer. And sometimes we reach for the complexities to bring it together.
I get it.
When you already got it, and it just doesn't seem like, damn, it just can't be this simple. Yeah.
Like, why are people homeless? Because mental illness or tragedy, or some motherfuckers are just lazy. So you don't matter.
Fuck the homeless, huh?
Some of them.
Yo,
bruh. I mean, that's a whole other discussion.
I know. I don't want to go into that because that'll go on for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
No, but speaking of the military, I want to end it on this. What about, and your opinions on the military going and staying at Trump's fucking property and refueling?
Wait, this happened?
Huh?
This happened in real life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so the military, let me tell you the quick story. The military was used to going to Saudi Arabia or these other places, dropping off supplies. And they normally stop in Ramstein in Germany or in London or I think in Spain. But recently, they've been stopping in Ireland at a private airport that's next to his resort there. And the military has been staying there, and they paid over $11 million in fuel.
Let Obama do that shit.
This is staying at his property, and all these motherfuckers is doing that. And he was like, no, that's not happening. I don't have a contract with that airport. I don't know what you're talking about. They went and found that shit, and they was like, here's a written document that even though it was before you became president, you got a contract with the motherfuckers. So there must be some kickback for you there. And then we, as taxpayers, has to pay for the military to stay at your high-ass resort.
Yep.
Going all outside the way. Like, why even build a military base?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? There's been multiple reports of that, too.
Yes.
Like, that's just one, because wasn't there another story with
Mike Pence?
Mike Pence, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pence,
and he was like,
looking
well, that's a nice place to be. They was like, no. You are 100 and something miles away from where you're supposed to be, but you're going to stay 100 miles at this. Well, it's a nice place to be. And have you been there? And he didn't want to answer the question like, this is why I did it. He was like, you son of a bitch.
Pence is a mess.
Bitch, man. Oh, I hate that dude too, man. I don't know who would be worse, but that dude dead, boy. But
He's a robot.
The reason why I'm saying that because they're saying the emoluments laws says you a sitting president or someone can't take foreign money for their own profit, and he's doing that, but he's doing it in a way that says no, it's just business, but it can be business. The profits is going in your pocket. He was at the G7 saying, hey, next year, y'all can come to my resort in Florida. It's the best place. Yeah. It has great rooms. It goes in his pocket. So not only are foreign dignitaries paying him, but we as taxpayers are paying for our people to be there and him to be there consistently. And he's making money off of that.
You know what? If the system is broke and they're not going to do shit, it doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying. It's like, what's the mechanism to stop that, and why if there's no incentive for him to give a fuck, and then there's no incentive for other people, the senators and congressmen and women to give a fuck either, then we just have a bunch of inaction, which enables this.
Yeah, if we're not gonna do anything about it, to your point, and he knows we're not doing anything, so that's why he's continuing to do it. And then when he just lies,
post presidential, post president is always, like you can catch some charges. Like remember Bush, I was like they want to bring them motherfucking for war crimes.
True.
So this he might get some civil cases, but that's disappointing to hear because the military is involved, and it's like the military is supposed to be. Bias, just pure defense and etc.
But when Trump gets out, all this shit's gonna be like he's gonna be in court nonstop.
There's gonna be like
guilty.
Remember what we said is there's gonna be multiple series for like the next couple of years about all the different shit that this motherfucker did within the last 3 years.
You think there's a drama being written right now?
Yep.
It's happening in real life.
Fucking write themselves. You know what I mean? But anywho, yeah, fellas, interesting, really interesting, and I definitely I'm glad we had a chance to talk about the international level, because a lot of times we sit here and look at ourselves and just get, deflated, and then when you see that, I think we base a lot of our communication and politics as well as just news on an entertainment level. That's kind of fucked up. And you can see that the international point is, here's the news. I don't need opinion. Here's the fucking news. And here's the next news. And here's the next news. Thanks for tuning in.
And I'll say just real quick, like the point of, if everyone travels, it's kind of like if we go to France right now, and the French are like, yo, this is some bullshit, we're about to go on strike. What you about to go on strike for? Because of this or that. It's like, really?
Right.
Just like vice versa. I was watching that documentary about how Chinese workers were they trained some American folks because the Chinese rich guy. You seen that shit on Netflix?
Nah.
But it's called Chinese Factory. It was some shit. But basically the point was, in China, sometimes they might work 6-7 days a week, 12-hour shifts. And if you're an American worker, it's kind of like, at the end of the day, you got to count your blessings and say, things can get fucked up here. It's nice to make more money, but it's like, we're not dealing with that third world shit. And as we get increasingly globalized, it's like, it's like silver lining. So you just learn to, like, as the world gets smaller, you learn to see silver lining in different places than maybe you would have seen it before.
True. Cool. All right, fellas, I really appreciate your time. Carl, almost said my other one. Repo, Rethink Politics. Got a couple of other different podcasts around here.
Ain't no Carl Wax over here.
There ain't no Carl Wax. We already finished that one. That's the music. But I really appreciate your stopping by. We'll split this one up. And, yeah, we have plenty to go with. But remember, coming up is the debate. And there's only going to be 10 people. So there's only going to be one.
When is that?
That's Thursday.
This Thursday?
Yep.
Still too many.
What the?
Yeah, it's this Thursday. Yep.
Still, that's like the first episode of like those Bachelor shows, like Flavor Flav. 10 hoes in the house.
10 hoes in the house.
The real show doesn't start until you get down at least 6. I can't remember all these bitches.
It's coming up though. There's a lot of people gonna be dropping off, but then the new shows. 12. Yep, there's gonna be new shows too. So they're gonna have some spin-offs. Yeah, so.
Like New York.
Yeah. All right. No, I appreciate it, fellas, and we'll see you next time on Repo Rethink Politics. See ya.